right now is working with women, women leaders. Some are moms, some are not. But women leaders who are looking at how to advance in their career as well as be very present in their home life. And I mentioned that's my secret sauce, that's my superpower, and I love what I do. And when I got into, and I told y'all earlier, I don't necessarily like the word coaching, but coaching. When I got into coaching, it was really something that I decided to do. I was actually in a very, very high dollar mastermind group. That is where I met the amazing Nikita B. Hey Nikita! Y'all say hey Nikita! And I met Dr. Gail, who you'll hear from a little bit later. And the three of us, when we went to this conference, it was about speaking, and that's what I love to do. But one of the things that our coach, we all three invested in a program to be in that program for a year. And one of the things that the coach said is that as a speaker, you want to leave a message with someone, but sometimes people want more. They don't want to just hear what you have to say and then you leave, but what they want more. And so what a lot of speakers do is then they will work with clients on a more individualized basis to help them get the results that they're not going to get in that 45-minute speech. And so I stepped out of my comfort zone and stepped into understanding more about what coaching is. And really, it was what I was doing all along. I was mentoring and helping support other women. But I realized that I could do that in a manner that was a little bit more meaningful in that I could build it as a business, but I also could help women achieve specific results. And so I've been coaching for about 4 years now, and I wanted to introduce you guys to three of the clients I've worked with over the last couple of years. I'm going to start in the middle with Erica, because Erica was my very first client. So Erica was my very first client. Erica is the clerk for the city of Columbia. And at the time, she was a single mom, and she remember me, four kids. At the time, she was divorced, single mom, wanting to do more, but really wanting to make sure that she was there and present for her kids. And so we started coaching one-on-one and really got real clear on what her goals were and what ultimately she wanted to do. And so I'm so proud of Erica because I've been able to kind of see her transition and transformation over the last 4 years. Erica has gotten married, so she's a newlywed. She's found a strong man who's not intimidated by a successful woman and can support her as her goals. She has also started her business. She does Mary Kay. And then she is a recent graduate, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more in a few minutes about her, but she has just gotten another degree, and that was one of the things we identified, that she wanted to go back to school. So I'm so proud of Erica. And then on the far end, we have Gwen. Gwen and I, when Gwen followed me, like some of you on social media for a while, and like Gwen as well, followed me on social media for a while, and then finally took that step and leap and reached out and signed up for my program. And so Gwen and I worked together specifically on an accelerated part, like what do you want to accomplish in 30, 60, 90 days? You know, what is it that you have to do to say you're a success? And we worked very specifically on her action plan and what success would look like for her. Gwen she's still working on a plan to fire her boss or to leave her regular 9 to 5, but since then she has grown an amazing business, All Exquisite Events, where she's doing event planning. She does what do you call it, treats, amazing treats. She also has an amazing, her husband is doing real estate. She has an amazing marriage, and she's really intentional about the time that she spends as a wife, as a mom, and building her business. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then lastly, I've got Miss Chandel Simmons here. When Chandel and I first met, Chandel too, I think, followed me a while on social media. Actually, now I think about it. So that's a theme. Those of you who follow, y'all lookers, y'all need to be keepers. But she followed me a while and then finally reached out, and she was doing photography, baby photography at the time, and over the time of working together, I wanted her to get really clear about what she wanted to do, not just in her business and professionally, but also thinking outside of that box. And then her daughter, Journey, is like me. Her daughter comes to a lot of events, so how do you also do things and show your daughter that things are possible? And so Chandel is working now in a law firm, has gotten promotions. I think she hadn't been there long, and we were talking about how do you show up, and we're going to talk about that this afternoon about networking and how do you build those coalitions to help you get your stuff. But we talked about networking and how to meet people and how to show up right at work so that they can point you out of the group and how you can advance. And so she's done that. She's got a nonprofit she's working on and all that stuff. So anyway, y'all please help me welcome my client panel. And so what I wanted y'all to talk about before we get into our afternoon sessions, because during our afternoon sessions, I do have the opportunity to talk to some folks who want to talk to me more about how to work with me. But start with when, like I mentioned, you and Chandel both watched for a while. What made you decide? I mean, you have the ability to make your dreams come true. But what made you finally decide, hey, I need to invest in a coach or a mentor, somebody who's going to be able to help me? And then I summarized it to tell us specifically the concrete deliverables that you can tie directly to the work that we've done together.
Well, for me, like Tameika said, I stalked her on social media, and I didn't even have to stalk her. I've seen her throughout the city. She's been at my church several times with different programs. And she's always been that person, that public figure that would always greet people with a smile, say hello to her. She would always respond back in a pleasant way. I got to the point where working in government for 20 years, I still was not fulfilled with 2 degrees. I had my daughter's now 23, and I was like, okay. At that point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Scrolling through Facebook, I ran across Tameika, Integrate to Success. I think it was a 30-minute consultation for free. I was like, well, it's free, I'm gonna try. So I reached out to her, and I don't even know if she remembered, but the very first appointment that she set with me, I missed it. And I was like, oh my God, she is not gonna work with me. I reached back out to her and asked her if she would reschedule, and she was like, sure. And I was so excited about that because watching her here in the city doing things that she does, I knew I was with the right person. I felt really good just having that small, I think 5-minute conversation with her, and I think it ended up being a little bit more than 5 minutes. But just having that conversation with her, it really gave me that drive to even want to step out even more. So just having that initial leap to even reach out to her was a big step for me. I am what they call the introvert. I rather do behind the scenes type things. I don't want to be up front doing anything. And then I, question myself why I should not be up front. I feel good about myself, feel confident, and Tameika helped me see that in myself. And so to start working with her, it just gave me a lot more confidence. She challenged me to go to events that I would not normally go to. And at that particular time, I was doing, my baking at home, but I wasn't a registered business. And I wanted to be legit. I wanted people to really see me as a business owner and respect me in that matter. So at that particular, I think I met Tameika in April last year. And I think in March, I went down to Michigan County and got my license to start my business. So that's just how I took the conversation and the coaching with her that serious, because I knew I wanted to do it. If you go into another story with me, starting out how I became a baker, because when I told Tameika, it actually saved my life. Hopefully next year will be a book coming out of that. But so yeah, that's how I initially got started with Tameika, with her helping me get to this point. So thank you, Tameika.
Erica, so And so Eric has known me for a long time at the city, and so, you know, and I think Eric was probably a little nervous to take it to a different level because we had that professional relationship. So share with us what made you want to work with me, and then specifically, I know I outlined some things, but you've done amazing things in the last 4 years. So tell us specifically some of the things that you've done that is directly tied to some of the work that you and I've done together.
Okay, so when the opportunity presented itself, I was definitely like, I have to take advantage of this because it's not every day that someone's willing to work with you to help you take your game up to the next level. And working with you was just amazing. I was already doing some things, but it's when you have someone looking at your picture from the outside, they can show you just some minor tweaks that you need to make just to be more productive. And I'll give you an example. I had set up a savings account and I was manually transferring the money. But you know, if something came up, that money wasn't getting transferred like it was supposed to. And so in working, and I call her Miss Devine because we have that professional relationship, but just out of respect because she's such an awesome woman of God. But after working with Miss Devine, she's like, hey, why don't you just set it up where it's automatically coming out of your bank account? And so since we worked together, that money's been coming out of my bank account, and y'all, I have some coins. So on those days where I'm not quite sure if I'm getting it right, I just log into my account and say, okay, thank you, Lord. And we looked at my business. I was doing a lot of things for a lot of people, including the Mary Kay, I was a property manager, grant writer, just all over the place for no
temporary administrative, contract administrative assistant for a church.
For a church, working for a real estate developer. The money was coming in, but at the end of the day, I was worn out, and I was doing things that other people wanted me to do, and it wasn't my passion. And so since we've worked together, I've nixed all those clients, all of them. And it was on my terms, and that's what made it beautiful. And so now I've gone back to school. I have 4 kids at a very young age. I have a daughter who has a bachelor's from Columbia College. My sons have gone to college, but I didn't complete my college degree. So I went back to Midlands Tech. Last semester, I took 6 classes just so I could graduate. And so last month, I walked across the stage. Just yesterday, I got my acceptance letter from Columbia College, where I'll be enrolled in the fall for community and organizational leadership. And so I'm just excited about the things that God is doing in my life. I've gotten married. I think even working with you, we talked about love. One of the questions in the initial questionnaire asked you about some of the status of your relationships or the lack thereof. And so I've learned how to open myself up to love. And I just want to say that in watching you, I had my kids early. No one gave me permission to take them where I go. I thought I had to have a babysitter. And so I'd be gallivanting around town and then paying a babysitter. And I'd see you and you'd have your kids with you. And I could have been doing that. You know? And so when we see people, we're quick. I think we can be so judgmental. And we could just learn from other people. We just took a moment and say, hey, what is this like? How are you doing this? But I also see at times where she can't have her kids, her husband comes to get them, or her mother, and I just love it. So I think using our village, like my landfall said, is just very important. But get back to the things that I've learned. I've done so much after working with you, and I just keep going. I keep setting goals, short-term goals. I have like my top 5 things that I'm doing, and that after I complete one, I start another. And so I just thank you for just pouring into me and helping me realize that there are just so many possibilities.
I just want to start by saying I'm not a paid actor. My results are real. I just want to say thank you so much for having me up. I would not have imagined like a year ago I'd be sitting on a panel with like clients who have had success. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, I stalked her like you did too. Like I love social media, so I stalked her and I I like the way she engaged with the community. I like the way I felt like she wanted to make a difference in women's lives. Didn't matter what your race was, your age was, and that kind of attracted me because, as you said, I was a newborn photographer and I made decent money, but I didn't know if that was exactly what I wanted to do. I felt like it was other things that I needed to do. And I actually got a part-time temporary position at a law firm that had absolutely nothing to do with anything I've ever done. It was IT. And I'm like, I don't know anything, but they gave me the opportunity. And I'm like, okay, I'll be there for 2 months while their person is out on maternity leave. I'll learn what I can, and then I'll go back to my studio and I'll just continue growing there. So I actually took that temporary position. I worked there for the 2 months. The girl that was supposed to come back decided to take another month off. So I'm like, yeah, I get another month. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm loving this job in addition to my my photography studio. So the crazy thing is the last week of that assignment, I got jury duty. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like not gonna be at work this last week. So I remember being in the courthouse and I got a call that said, Chandel, we want to offer you a position. And they actually created a position for me. And the money that I asked for, they actually added more money onto the amount. So it was a blessing with that. And it stemmed from me working with Tameika, which is pretty awesome because I never in a million years would have thought that I would be doing what I'm doing now. I have been very successful because of working with you. I've learned how to like set short-term, long-term goals and actually follow through with my goals. I didn't used to do that before. I was all over the place in a circle. I saw a quote one time that it talks about being successful, moving in silence, and then letting your success be the noise. I don't agree with that because I feel like if you're trying to be successful, if other people who can help you don't know that you need the help, then you're not going to be where you could be further, you know, or ahead if you don't actually reach out to people. So I really appreciate all your help. And I feel like had I been quiet, had I not followed her, reached out, I don't think I would be where I am right now. And I mean that. And honestly, y'all, I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life. Like, if you're on social media, you see me, I don't care if I get 5 likes or 50 because I'm smiling, I'm happy, and I am really successful, and it has to do with me. So thank you.
It's just been my honor to work with you guys, and so although they are not paid, their results speak for themselves. This is really not a commercial, but it is kind of a commercial because, and the reason y'all know, the folks who came last year, this is a little bit different, and I know we're a little bit off off schedule. We'll catch back up. But the reason I felt like this was so important, and Nikita can speak to this. Nikita was here last year to support me. She's amazing. And afterwards, Nikita and Tara and Shayna and I were sitting around, and I was just talking about how I love this. This is my passion. It is not, although, you know, certainly you want to be get value for your time. I coach with women because I love to see the results, and I love to see that. That's my passion and what I love doing. But Nikita and I were talking, she was like, sis, she's like, that's that public servant in you. You don't want to put out there like, you know, hey, this is what I do, and you know, these people work with me, and this is, you know, this is a business, and if people work with me, these are the results they're going to get. You don't tell what your results are. And Nikita was like, you got, you know, y'all know Nikita, like she will tell and break it down. She's like, girl, she was like this. Next year, you know, you need to put it out there. So I decided to add this portion because a lot of folks do, y'all either talk to me on social media or you talk me out and you see stuff and you're like, oh, she does coaching, but what is that? What does she do? Well, what I do, I work with women who are looking at changing their life, living in their purpose. And I say I work with work-life integration and I do leadership mentoring, but specifically it's very tailored to what you want. Every one of these ladies is different, and everyone is getting success in a different way. So it's about what works for you. But I'll be real honest, and where I am now is not here for anything, any luck, or, it's all God and me walking and being obedient to what God tells me to do. And so I didn't need another job. I didn't need to start a coaching business, but it's what God has for me in this season. And so as I grow this business, I want to make sure that people know, hey, yes, I'm out there, I'm this public official, whatever, but I also can have an opportunity to work with you where you are. I'm very intentional. I mean, I wasn't on the front page of the Free Times. Yeah, I told you he walked up to me on everything, but everything that drew him to me to do that article was very intentional. I had a plan and I walked in that plan. So anyway, so over the afternoon, again, I want to talk to you ladies. If anybody's interested in saying, okay, Tameika, I have some things I want to work on, and what does that entail? I do one-on-one coaching. What I did with Erica was one-on-one coaching. What I did with Gwen was group coaching. What I did with Chandel was leadership mentoring. And so they were all in different programs, so I have different levels that people can invest in working with me. And also, based on some of the feedback I got last year, I have a new program. It's called the Power Circle, where it is it's a mastermind group where I don't do necessarily coaching. I do mentoring in a group setting. And so Shayna has, did you get those? Okay. So Shayna has the information on those. Actually, if you can get Monica just to pass those out, and folks can take a look at those, and then we'll get, we're gonna, Tara, you all set up? Okay, so I'm gonna introduce Tara too. But lastly, before I introduce Tara, well, I need to do a couple door prizes too before I introduce Tara. So before I introduce Tara, ladies, if y'all would just briefly, as we close, tell people if they're thinking, if they're like a looker and thinking about leaping, or if they are like kind of, I'm not sure if that's for me, what would you tell somebody if it were you 5 years ago, you last a year and a half ago, you 2 years ago? What would you tell somebody who's thinking about wanting to do something, whether or not they feel like, oh, is this really for me? Do I need that kind of help? I can do it on my own. What would you tell people?
I would probably just say, like, when you need to spiritually be fulfilled, you go to a pastor. When you need to be physically fulfilled, you get a trainer. So it only makes sense that if you're trying to grow your business or integrate your life into your business, that you will hire someone who's trained to actually help you get to where you're trying to be. Just really quick, I remember this year was the first time since my 12-year-old's been born that I missed something at school. I actually missed her band performance. But from being at the conference last year, I learned that you have work wives. And so I sent my work wife, aka my mom, to go video her performance. And I felt like she may be, a little disappointed that I wasn't there. But she was like, Mom, you're doing it. Like, it's okay. And so it made me feel better, and it motivated me even more. So I would just tell people, like everyone has said, make sure you invest in yourself. I mean, certain things you can do alone, but I think God places certain people in your life just to help you grow.
I say make the sacrifice. She actually took mine, which is invest in yourself. These hairdos and fingernails and all that fluffy stuff is really nice, but I sacrificed a pedicure and a manicure for however long it took in order for me to invest in myself. I sacrificed it for coaching, I sacrificed it for my education. And in turn, you're sacrificing it for your family. So just invest in yourself.
And I will piggyback on both. Definitely invest in yourself and make that sacrifice. Like I said, I make treats for different types of events. I knew I wanted to continue working with Tameika outside of that complimentary session. I went out and baked some cakes and cookies and got my feet because I knew I needed her to help guide me in the direction in which I wanted to go. So definitely make that sacrifice, make that investment. You will see the rewards come later. I'm telling you, I'm now a vendor in different places here in the city that I never even thought I would be. But that was my purpose of making sure I was a legitimate business. I've done events for...
And Eva Marcel has her cookies.
Yes,
She told me text the information so she could tweet you.
Oh, awesome, yeah, which I already tweeted her back. But yeah, you know, being here with Tameika, she reached out to me and said, can you get a basket together for Eve? And I was like, yeah, I sure will. And so yeah, it's just giving me those opportunities that I probably would have never stepped out to maybe be for myself. So that's just the benefit of make sure networking and investing and making that sacrifice to be with this Devine.
Thank you, ladies.